Welcome to the FanMouth Fantasy Roundtable. I'm Erin here with Dave and Jeff to tell you about our daily fantasy running back picks for Week 9. Jeff, who's your pick this week?
Okay, well, my strategy for running back this week is to go with old reliables. I'm going with the guys I can really trust. There's not a whole lot to choose from this week, but I've got LaShawn McCoy, Danny Woodhead, and I've got Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell I had last week as well. It's just a guy I trust. These are guys that I know are going to get plenty of carries, or in Danny Woodhead's case, some catch opportunities that are going to set some low floors for me, and I'm thinking a minimum of 10 points from each running back there.
Well, McCoy and Bell were two guys that I thought of. I had Bell as well last week, and McCoy, he's one of those guys you can't go wrong with. Mm-hmm. Well, the reason that I didn't go with either one is I'm not sure what to think about the Raider defense. I mean, the Raider defense last week did a much better job on Bell than I expected. So in a sense, it's like I really don't want to go with McCoy this week because I respect the Raider defense. Then again, was it Bell's problem? And it's like, I don't want to go with Bell this week either. I'm not really sure which way to think, so I thought, you know what, scratch them both. So.
That's fair. Le'Veon Bell actually had 15 points, though, thanks to a touchdown. Yeah. You know how fantasy goes. I mean, you can have a bad game, but still a good fantasy game. But I see what you're saying. The Raiders have been good and bad at times. The defensive coordinator might be a little less rich this week because he's going to get fined. I don't know if that's going to impact the game much, but I'm not too worried about it. The Raiders aren't an elite defense by any means, and McCoy is an elite running back. You know, Danny Woodhead, that guy you can trust a lot. And Le'Veon Bell might be the weakest of those three picks, but you know he's going to get the ball close to 20 times, if not 20 times.
Who are your running back picks this week, Dave?
Well, I agree with what you said there about the guys you're used to picking just aren't there this week, so you got to dig a little deeper. I'm going with Zach Stacy, who we last saw limping off the field Monday night, and Stephen Ridley of New England. Both guys I kind of like for the same reason. Is I see a matchup where the team is going to want to run the ball against a team that I think they can run against. We saw New England last week in a game where I had Brady and Gronkowski. They ran the ball to death. Well, this week they're playing a team, Pittsburgh, that's very poor against the run. The Raiders showed that last week with McFadden running the ball as much as he did. So I think Ridley's going to carry the ball a lot this week. He's been scoring touchdowns recently. I think he's a good pick. And Stacy, again, against Seattle, he carried 20-some-odd times against Seattle's defense. You know, what's he going to do this week against Tennessee, which is at the other end of the spectrum defending the run? So, high quantity of running backs. Is the quality there? I'm not sure, but I'll go with the quantity.
You have it right with Stacy. I think except for the fact that he is a little banged up. He's got a minor ankle injury we've got to worry about. Don't know how that's going to affect him. It affected him enough that they pulled him out of the game. We didn't see much of him. But I love Stacy. I told people to start him against Seattle, and they told me I was crazy. And he went for well over 100 yards. He's one of my favorite running backs this year. With Ridley, though, I don't trust him at all. I don't trust Belichick. I don't know who's going to get the ball. There's a bunch of running backs in that system that are pretty close to the same in talent level, in my opinion. And until they get some guys coming back from injuries with Shane Vereen, I don't see there being a number one guy there. It's going to be a committee approach, and who knows who's going to get the points.
Yeah, I like Zach Stacy this week. I think he carried their offense on Monday night. It was impressive. My favorite pick of those six is Danny Woodhead, though. I really love the matchup, and I love a good pass-catching running back. My love for pass-catching running backs is why I picked Matt Forte this week. I think with Josh McCown under center and Jay Cutler out of the game, he's going to need to rely on that short pass. Matt Forte has as many receptions as many of the wide receivers on his team, and I love the matchup, like I said. My other pick does go along with the good matchup with San Diego. I went with Ryan Matthews. I didn't have quite enough money to get Woodhead. I know that Woodhead gets the end zone looks, he gets the receptions, but Matthews is coming off of two 100-plus yard weeks right before the bye. They give him the ball a lot, so I think he could have a pretty good game for his price.
Well, Forte is one of these backs that I don't trust this week because of the quarterback situation. I mean, there's no reason for Green Bay, which is good against the run to start with, to respect Chicago's passing game at all. I think it's going to move everybody closer to the line of scrimmage. There's one guy you've got to take out of the game, kind of like the Monday night game where the Rams decide, you know what, we're going to stop Lynch. This game, they're going to say, we got to stop Forte. Make them throw the ball. Yeah, they've got Marshall, but they don't really have a quarterback. So he's a high-priced guy, usually a high-production guy, where I don't see him having one of his better games.
Yeah, usually those high-priced guys, there's not a lot of risk involved. But with Forte, as Dave says, you don't know how Green Bay's going to defend this team. They could go all out trying to stop Forte. That could be their whole game plan with the backup quarterback in. So I'm not a big fan of that pick. And then the Ryan Matthews, as I talked about earlier, I don't see him having a good game unless San Diego is leading the whole time. I'm not going to bet on that. There's no reason for me to think that, well, San Diego is going to lead most of this game. It is awesome that he's got 20-plus carries the last couple of weeks and that he's had 100 yards with both those games they were leading. So.
My fear in the Chicago game, your fear, I don't really have that. Josh McCown has actually proven to be a pretty successful quarterback. He's a backup, but he's one of the better backups we've seen, and I think he might get some passes to Bennett or Jeffrey and provide just enough of a threat, and he's an experienced quarterback that they won't be able to stop Forte the entire game. Maybe in the beginning, but I think they'll get spread a little bit, and he might be able to be successful later on.
Might's the key word there.
Mike?
Might.
Oh.
Yeah.
You got to take some chances in this game. All right, those are our running back picks.